There is a suffocating silence to a room full of forgotten secrets. Decades-old case files, yellowing in the dark, gathering dust under the hum of a dying fluorescent bulb. The entire investigation started with a piece of trash, a torn, faded stub from a Tuesday matinee, with 7 random letters scrawled in blue ink across the back. Those 7 letters defied the standard protocol of every detective who touched them. No fingerprints, no known ciphers, just a dead end that mocked the investigators who pinned it to their boards, remaining completely silent for over 20 years. A truly cold case exerts a physical pressure on the mind. It is a psychological weight that waits patiently in the thick midnight air for an investigator obsessive enough to shoulder it. To find the architect of that weight, you don't look in the shadows. You look at a mid-level zoning auditor clocking in at 8:58 a.m., sorting triplicate forms and eating a tuna sandwich at his desk. Maintaining that mask of normalcy requires a terrifying psychological discipline. The perfectly ironed slacks, the polite nods in the hallway, the deliberate, mind-numbing repetition. Every mundane act is a calculated lie designed to render him invisible. He would pull into his driveway, wave to the neighbor, and water the roses. But after sunset, that quiet suburban routine gave way to a classified, treasonous operation that traded state secrets in the dark. The most dangerous operatives do not skulk in alleyways. They survive by disappearing completely into the blinding, banal light of day. Picking up a file built on decades of institutional lies takes a physical toll. You drink too much burnt coffee, you stop sleeping, and the paper cuts start to feel like razor blades. The fracture finally happened at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. By cross-referencing old surveillance logs, those 7 letters on the theater ticket matched the exact coordinate sequence of a classified foreign intelligence dead drop. Official channels would have buried it again, so the investigation went underground. Wiretaps placed without warrants, garbage bags dragged into basements, tracing ghost assets through sheer, grinding obsession. When you are dismantling a meticulously constructed intelligence cover-up, standard procedure is useless. Deep, creeping paranoia and an unhealthy obsession become the only tools sharp enough to pry the truth loose. This visualization shows a one-time pad, 2 synchronized grids of randomized letters, used once, then destroyed. Without the exact string, it's mathematically impenetrable. Supercomputers choke. But math doesn't commit treason. People do. We hunted for human error and transporting the pad. A dead drop is gritty and physical. It requires walking the route, checking for tails, and sliding a physical piece of paper under a loose brick. The 7 letters on that theater ticket were the index, the specific starting coordinate on the pad that told the recipient where to begin the readout. The operative thought he had destroyed the source, but forensic analysts used infrared spectroscopy on his incinerated ledger to find the indentations left on the page beneath the one he burned. They extracted a long, hidden sequence of randomized values from the very fibers of the ash. By aligning those 7 letters from the theater ticket as the starting index for this recovered sequence, the garbled data finally resolved. A violent cascade of blacked-out text spilled out into plain English, exposing operational dates, classified staging grounds, and the real names of the network's handlers. The ultimate vulnerability of any classified secret is never locket. The arrest was quiet. No sirens, no drawn guns, just 2 men in suits intercepting him on his driveway. In a matter of seconds, his carefully constructed suburban facade, the manicured lawn, the boring commute, it all shattered. Word spreads like a virus in the dark. The moment the operative missed his morning check-in, a crippling paranoia infected the rest of his network. They realized their unbreakable system was breached, and they scrambled to burn their own lives to the ground. Ripping the mask off one spy did not bring justice, and it certainly didn't bring order. It merely triggered a chaotic, ruthless wave of secondary cover-ups as the institution scrambled to protect its own reputation. Then comes the collateral damage. The victims' families are handed the cold, decoded facts of what happened. They get the exact times, dates, and locations, but the facts provide no emotional closure. Just a sterile confirmation of their worst fears. For the investigator, there is no victory lap. To catch a monster, you have to move into their mind, think with their logic, and adopt their paranoia. That isolation leaves a permanent weight on your chest. The bureaucracy finally gets what it wants. A heavy, closed stamp is slammed onto the file cover, and the paperwork is boxed up. But the psychological fractures in the investigator's mind remain wide open. In a classified cold case, the truth offers no relief. It is a profound burden that simply passes from the perpetrator to the observer, settling deep into their bones and leaving them forever in the dark.